Ever since World War II, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has been publishing this number called the Laborforce participation rate. Labor force participation is not the same thing as unemployment. The unemployment rate is a calculation, a guess, an estimate basically, of how many people who want a job are not able to find a job. But somebody who doesn't want a job is not considered unemployed. A housewife who is not looking for a job is not unemployed. A college student who is spending their full time doing school is not considered unemployed. A disabled person who can't work is not considered unemployed. But the labor force participation rate is a much more straightforward, kind of a little bit more rigorous and easier to understand number. It's literally just a count of the number of American adults who have a job, which is a thing we know because taxes, both the employee and the employer have to file paperwork that like declare, yes, I am working, so that the government knows where to charge them taxes. It's the number of Americans, adults who are working compared to the number of American adults that there are, which we know because of the census. So the labor force participation rate is just a known number, and it is the number of American adults who have a job. And you know what it has been since World War II? Well, right around the time that they started calculating it, it was just a little bit below 60%, but by like the 80s or so, it hit 65 and has been fluctuating like down to 62 and up to 67 ever since like the late 70s, early 80s. Meaning, since World War II, over 60%, about 2/3 of all American adults have been working. So if there ever was a period of time that people just didn't want to work, it was back in the late 40s and early 50s, right, when labor force participation rate was at its lowest. However, your entire lifetime, basically if you were born anytime after 1975, your entire lifetime, the labor force participation rate has been flat. It's been 65% plus or minus a bit. So this idea that there are just like some people who just don't want to work, or people used to want to work and now they don't, literally is a delusion. It is not real. You are not allowed to believe that people don't want to work anymore, because it's not a thing that's about belief. It's a fact that's either known or not known, and it's known. And we know that people want to work. That it's been a constant number of Americans who have participated in the labor force your entire life. Facts don't care about your fucking feelings. So if you ever hear anyone say, well, people just don't want to work anymore, literally kick them in the dick. They are liars, they are delusional, they are assholes, and they have that belief not because they arrived at it from a place of thought, but they arrived at it from a place of feelings, and it's a place of ugly feelings geared toward their fellow Americans. So anytime you hear anyone say, like, people don't want to work anymore, first of all, no, and second of all, fuck you, die.